Hey, how's it going? Yeah, you know what? This is too dark. Just give me a second. Hi, how's it going again? Now this is acceptable, I think. Maybe. Hold on one second. I'm gonna turn it off. Just gonna make a little adjustment. Feel like I'm getting too much shine. Can you cooperate, please? There. Okay, that's good. All right. Oh, great. I just saw that my eye is not orienting like the one that works properly. Oh, well. Gonna have a crazy eye, I guess. Yay. All right. So, sometimes I pull these cards and I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this? Which is to say, at first, they may not be saying much of anything, or oh god, there's something sticky here. Hold on. Okay, now I'm back, and I just put my hand in something wet. Oh, it's the spray cleaner. That's okay. All right, well, anyway, as I was saying, sometimes I pull out the cards and I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this? Because it doesn't always immediately speak to me, but what I usually do though is pull them and then leave them out for a while after I give them a glance, or depending on the day and what it feels like, I might do more than just glance. I might look at the book, write something down, but this was one of those days that I pulled them and I was like, what am I supposed to do with this? And then I did some other stuff, and before I was doing this, I took a rest, and I don't want to say that I was resting my eyes like my older relatives used to do when I was a kid, because I don't know why they couldn't just say they were sleeping. I don't know, like, what was the secret? You're sitting there snoring. You don't know. They knew they fell asleep. I know when I fall asleep and wake up. They had to have known. They weren't, like severely senile or something. Just a silly thing that adults say. I don't know if it's a Southern thing or what, but my older people were Southern, so that's just, I guess, my impression. But anyway, I was not resting my eyes, although, I did set my alarm in case I fell asleep. And I woke up, thankfully, about 45 or 15 minutes before the alarm was going to go off, because I had set it for an hour. And then, right after I woke up, somebody started messaging me and talking to me, so then that woke me up too. Which, there was the fear that well, this happens like before I have to get up in the morning or something, or it used to happen when I had to like get up and go to work. Like, you don't want to wake up at all, because you have to get up and go to work, but you might fall back asleep, and then you wake up and it's like, oh shoot, I was supposed to be at work a half an hour ago. I don't have like that kind of stress on it, but I do like to finish the day's video before the next day happens. So anyway, all in all, it was good. I woke up, and then I looked at the cards again, and they made some sense. So you're welcome for sharing. Wow. Ooh, getting hot. Okay, so I pulled one card from the Shaman's Dream Oracle deck. Oh, shoot. Why do my ears always get hot? That's so weird. You can fry an egg on these things. Oh, anyway. So from the Shaman's Dream Oracle deck, I pulled number 40. It is mindful. 2 words, and the subtitle is groupthink, and it looks very messy. It actually reminds me for some reason of like a Doctor Who scene where that's how they depict a planet that is not Earth. It's just like lights and filters to make the lights look like shady. Not shady, just like not as bright, like diffuse. The light is not directly poking and scraping your eye cones out. It's been softened by some means. I know in old film, Hollywood, they they used to put like a film of Vaseline over the lens to, I guess, give that bedroom look. And then I think they also used to slip gauze over the lens, so it like softens the appearance, particularly for an older actor. I think it would soften the wrinkles, like the combination of whatever the filter was, Vaseline or gauze, and then like makeup. You know, the same thing as now. I mean, the filters might be different today, but they still try to obscure aging with not just makeup. Now there's all kinds of procedures. Okay, getting way off track about that. I don't think anything to do with this, but who knows? I haven't finished talking yet. And I think part of the reason why it's sort of there, obviously. Where is my indicator? There it is. That's not it. My eyes are playing tricks on me. There it is. There's like all these areas that are obviously there, but they're kind of blurry. And I think that it is because, like, this is mindful. It's like full, your head is full of stuff, like, in your mind. And groupthink, and it made me think of all of the interviews I've seen of people at Trump rallies. And I am not gonna lie, I'm definitely an on the left person, but I'm not a Democrat, and I'm also not a Republican. I don't want to get too deep into that because I'll lose my track, but I don't even care for those artificial titles we gather under to vote. I think it's, to sum up, a bunch of baloney, but I don't want to explain why specifically that's about at this particular time. All I will say is that because the same thing is not happening on the left with rallies and like big crowds of whichever politician boosters like it is on the right, it's two different worlds kind of thing. But on the right, they've always had these sort of schools of thought and beliefs as far as like what people should do to improve themselves, like raise themselves up, that bootstrap business. And they got a lot of rules. Like when I was growing up, and probably still now, because I grew up in California where there was the John Birch Society was there, and there's like a bunch of right-wing groups, and like Ronald Reagan was from there, and that was like his people. But they have certain ideas about the way society should be run, and they have a lot of ideas about how other people should live their lives and what they should be allowed to do and how they should look and who they should love. And it's like, man, what do you think gives you the right? Like, you know, you're spending so much time with your mind on other people and what they're doing. What the hell does your life look like at home? I'm afraid to know. It's like somebody that wears a wig all the time because they never comb their hair because they can't wait to get outside and start like opining and getting all up in other people's business. Oh wait, isn't that a Karen? See, getting all sidetracked, but still, like the metaphor of, you know, wanting to rush out and do whatever so much that you don't even take care of yourself, and you just throw a whole other fake hair over your untended hair, which I'm gonna call a rat's nest. Maybe that's a southern thing too, because I know that I heard that from my mom and my grandparents. What was going on in the South? Were there lots of rat nests around to closely observe and then liken to somebody's nappy ass hair? I don't know. See, sidetracked. But anyway, they got a lot of rules basically, and something similar happens on the left. Like, there's rules there too, and there's also like moralities. Both sides have it, and I just feel like I don't want to have, I don't want any of it on me, because I don't know, I don't want to get all into that either. But at the rallies, and this is like reporters that are from the left and the right talking to the attendees of the rally. It is the QAnon MAGA thing. It all kind of melded together, like in the first place. But people that joined it later were not necessarily Q or MAGA people to begin with. So there's like a whole range of people on the right, and it's evolved since 2015 when I sort of became involved with and aware of a lot of those people on the right that were, probably still are, like major Trump people. And those people that I spoke to, well, they supposedly they were like really close with the actual Q. It's not a person, it's like people. Like, I would call it more of like an organization group that has decided to present as a person. Anyway, they were like professional. They had worked with the government. They were contractors. They were like, I'm sorry to have to refer to the other people. Well, it's going to sound like I'm referring to them a certain way, but these people were all very bright, very intelligent. They knew their stuff. The only thing that was so weird was they believed so hard in Trump and this Q thing. And to me, it's always just been like, like, Trump stuff. Well, this is the other thing. Like, I've known about him and his family, him and his dad, and their sort of ways and beliefs about people and what they should do and where they should be for a long time, and they're not been pretty, not been nice to say, not nice things to say about minority groups. And sorry, but we do take kind of, if not offense, notice of that kind of stuff. Like, excuse me, because it doesn't happen in the other direction, and that somehow gets lost in the message. But anyway, if you would have talked to those people, what they had to say would have not been blurry and out of focus like this. It may have been strange and hard to believe, but they could like complete a sentence and cite what the hell they were talking about like multiply and make sense. But so the people that get interviewed at the like Trump rallies, what I find is that when people are trying to ask them about details, like, why do you believe this? Why do you like it? Why do you think it? Why should this be? They're not real good on giving clear, coherent, concise answers, so that it sounds like they don't know what the hell they're talking about. And they just, the more they're like the more a reporter tries to pin them down on something, they get frustrated and then can't like articulate themselves. Even it gets even less clear. And I'm just laughing because there was another one of this kind of ending where the person is like frustrated. They realize that they can't like express their point and that they look stupid, so then they get mad at the reporter and tell them to shove the microphone out of their face and into their back pocket. And I'm like, it just cracks me up. That's what they do when they get mad. They have to bail out and kick everybody and sock them on the way out. I don't know, it's funny. But what is not funny is that you have such a surety, a certainty of this notion that you cannot even clearly articulate, and that would disturb me. Like, what am I so attached to? I can't even describe it, but it's also like woke. They just start saying that, and it doesn't have like certainly not the meaning that the word exists in the lexicon for originally. It's been appropriated and just poured out, and it doesn't even mean, especially when the right use it to like eliminate things. They can't articulate what the hell they mean, but what it looks like from outside to the onlooker like myself, it looks like, you know, they want to eliminate Black history because all of a sudden it's making people feel bad. And I'm like, wait a minute, I don't hear any kids saying that. It's all these grown adults, and it's like, now it makes you feel bad? Like, if you were going to feel bad about it, why the delay? I don't understand. I think it's not real. And that's probably the case because a lot gets said and taken at face value and believed on the right and not well understood, not understanding the motivation. But what I started to say was when they get frustrated at the end of those interviews and they're telling the person to shove the mic, like before that, before they give up, the last ditch effort is to start throwing out slogans, and woke is one of them. And no one apparently can define the word because I keep seeing it come up over and over on television where someone will go on, some politician will go on some news show and go blah 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 about my policy, and it's woke this and it's woke that, and we got to get rid of it, and those people can't have this and that and the other thing, or whatever the cock blocking is. And they can't define what the hell they're talking about. But again, to the onlooker, it always looks like some minority group or some fringe group that's getting it and getting stuck by woke. And they're like, wait a minute, that's your crap, not ours. But that's the way it works. It's like that stupid Seinfeld, George Costanza thing. If you say it over and over, it's real, it's true. And I'm like, what kind of idiot thinks that? Like, well, who does that work on? Soft brain? I don't know. I mean, I feel like that would work on somebody that can be easily pushed and influenced. A soft brain. So, okay, I'm gonna just take a look at this and see if I can tell you anything else about it. Oh my God, that looks like the White House in the background. Well, that ain't good. So this is weird. It's like the foreground is like all the symbolic stuff. There's a rose, there's a key, there's a keyhole, there's an open, I wouldn't call it a doorway, it looks more like an archway. And definitely on this side of this archway, I'm going to show you in a second, this doorway is all of the symbols I was talking about, and also those like diffuse lights that I think are like ideas, and a red ball in the clock, like all of this, like, I don't know, stuff that you know is symbolic. Oh, and it looks like a calculator, and a weather system, and a tree, and an ocean wave, and all, just like all this stuff, like the jumble that your mind can be sometimes. So, here's the thoughts that I was talking about, and then where's the ball? I think that's the red ball, and then there's a key hanging over here somewhere. See, once it's that far away, and it really truly is a blur, like, I know I keep saying this, I still haven't made that appointment with the eye doctor, and I need to, but anyway, there's like all this stuff, and like this, that reminds me of the wall at Fred Siegel in Santa Monica, California. Anyway, it actually looks like it's ivy growing over a peaked house, which, I don't know, feels like some kind of a dream thing, but anyway, all this stuff, all this like dream object stuff, and then there's that archway that I talked about that's not, I mean, I guess it could be a really big door because there's a keyhole somewhere and a key on here somewhere, but inside the archway, if you look in the background, that's what I was seeing that looked like the White House. So what does that signify? Like, there's all this stuff out in the world that's kind of, the product of all of these minds, and the information is not necessarily entirely complete. Sometimes it's a lot of stuff that's just dreamed up and just made up to fit the mood and moralities and ideas of a person, or possibly a group of people that agree somewhat enough on one thing. But so that's the thing about groupthink. Unless you get everyone like totally whipped in like a, well, yeah, I was just gonna say, even like the Jim Jones Guyana situation, a lot of people were all, I guess I'm drinking poison Kool-Aid, and then several other ones were like, well, I'm not. This dude is nuts. Let's go. And that's, I don't even know how to begin to think about that, because I don't have a dang psychology degree, but that is like some heavy stuff. Like, I'm gonna go ahead and drink the poison Kool-Aid and feed it to my child? What? I don't even know how to, where, I don't, that does not compute. But that just goes to show you the mind of someone that can be like so easily touched and influenced and pushed like that. Like, you are not thinking clearly. And so I wonder, with this White House back there, I'm not going to sit there and talk a bunch of crap about Joe Biden. I have over the years for stuff that he's done in the past. I'm going to like let go of that baggage, because he's the president now. He is who we have, and he has done some things that definitely the right hates, and some things on the left that I'm not crazy about either. But he's also done some good things, and he's helping people. He's doing his best. And right now, there's like all of this stuff going on out here, and it's not just what people are thinking. It's also, I said they're influenced. Well, there's an influencer. There's someone out there directing things, like the Q organization, I'm going to call it, because I don't think it's one person, that they created this whole, I don't even know what to call it. World map came to mind, so I guess it was supposed to influence like the world, which I guess it did. But it's to make them think things that are not the case, and the motivations that those people have that are putting the push on are not good. And like all the people, that's what I've been saying all along. I was gonna say, all the people that are following them are thinking that they're following something that they're not following. They're thinking they're a part of something, and it's like, yeah, you're a part of it. You're the part that's being used and manipulated. So I would say that Joe Biden is, as he was saying, fighting for the soul of the country, and I think he's trying to bring a semblance of, normality back. And I don't know that he can do anything to affect the minds of the people on the right that are just so into their thing of being against the left. It's like to the point that they're talking violence against people, like to death, just because they might be a Democrat. And how are they actually even going to know unless, they demand some proof, which makes me think, even when people get hurt behind that kind of thinking, they're not going to inquire first. They're just going to look at a person and make a judgment. And that kind of thought process usually ends up being all kinds of wrong, and people are hurt for nothing. Like, it's not smart. So I think the White House back here behind all of this, it's like chaotic, but it's, in a way, it's kind of beautiful chaos, It's not showing the uglier stuff, but like the potential that these people still have to not go the way that they're going and think horrible about other people and want to use violence against them and eliminate them, and to not allow people to have ideas of their own and live their lives without your special supervision. Like, I don't know. I don't really know anybody, and I'm well into adulthood, but I don't know anybody who's going to come along and start telling me what to do, and I'm just going to be all, okay, I'll just not have a mind of my own. Like, that is insane. But some people are like giving into that, and it's like you're not even thinking of the other people as other people. Like, think of them as yourself. Like, always, they're not going to do this because they're probably not in the place consciously to. But I always try and put myself in the other person's position, even if it's someone I totally disagree with and am having an argument with or whatever. Once my passion dies down, I have to look at, like, why did that trigger me? Why did that upset me? But that's, like, something I do now. I didn't, like, come out of the womb doing that. I had to go through a whole lifetime and learn it. But, not everybody is on the same stage of learning, so, you know, that's why there's so many different realities and thoughts about stuff, you know, like beliefs. Okay, so trying to bring clarity back and put things into finer focus so you know what's what, and it's not just a rumor and an innuendo and like a bullshit, basically. So, okay, I'm going to read from what the guidebook has to say about mindful. Keeping a clear mind, hurtful thoughts, groupthink. The human mind can be so many things. A prison, a latrine, a circus, a temple, a cave. It can be a place of... cave. Maybe I'll come back to that. It can be a place of restriction or a place of never-ending expansion. Right now, be careful of where you wander in your mind. The quality of your thoughts is key, as you're in a fertile time for full manifestation. You want to ensure that the seeds you plant will sprout and flourish into the life you seek to grow. Be mindful not to scatter weeds. It's easy to be influenced by others right now too, especially in our digital age. It's hard to protect yourself from the energy and the amount of information bombarding you 24/7. If you allow all the fear and uncertainty to pollute your mind and emotions, you will fill yourself up with this negativity and then see more of it in the outer world around you. Stay out of gossip and other forms of groupthink. For when you cut other people down to their level due to their perceived mistakes or limit them by your envy, you activate lack for yourself. So fill yourself with thoughts of plenty. Imagine your universe unfettered by scarcity and alive with abundant hope and goodness. Be mindful of what your mind is full of. You know, because sometimes that gets in there too. And keep the faith. Good brings more good, love more love, gratitude more things to be grateful for. I can testify to that being true, because I have tried those in my life and seen them work successfully, so yay. Okay, I also pulled 2 cards. They were all hanging out together, all too close for comfort, from the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck. And I pulled Lizard and Phoenix. So Lizard is this guy. It has the triangle, so it's it's not water, it's not air, it's not earth. I guess it's just like the fire sign. Anyway, I've gotten this guy before, and I see something again I didn't see on it the other times. I see that it's got like red spots on its back and going up its neck to its over its head and onto like its snout area, which I didn't notice before. And what I had noticed was the skin behind it that's very similar to the skin of the lizard itself, and also the place where its head is sort of in is the skin. Like I said, that's so similar to the lizards, but in that area is the red dots that I see traveling from this area all the way here, and then just sort of, I don't know, it's like they stuck their face in it and it got on them or something, which is interesting. Like, what are you sticking your nose into? Are you sure you want to get that stuff on you? I don't even know what's there. But I know that this time and the other time, or this time and the last time I looked at this, I felt like this lizard was furtively hiding or trying to like camouflage itself, but I think it's not really a chameleon, so it can't really do it, you know. It's like I got a little bit over here, and then there's some green down here, so, but it's not a chameleon, it's a lizard. But good try, good instincts. So I just have to read the book. I don't know what that meant. Instinctual, sensitive to the subtle, dreamer. You know, when I think of it saying, or when I see that sensitive to the subtle, it makes me think of how ancient a creature a lizard is, a reptile is. And they are kind of like a monolith of just patience and stillness, because I don't know if they all hunt like this, but the one in my mind having to do with this card just sits still for a long time on desert sands and stays so still to camouflage itself. Like, even if it doesn't have chameleon camouflage, by staying still, it could just be another object, you know, like it could be trash that somebody walked by and left, which is horrible to think of at this desert in my mind that is really pristine and remote. And how dare you drop your Pepsi bottle or can on my desert floor and go put that in the receptacle where it belongs. In fact, don't even bring that out here. It is pristine. So I don't know what this guy is nervous about, but in my mind, the lizard is going to sit there in the desert and just be still and one with the area that it's in, so that it's, when prey comes along, it doesn't even notice that, you know, the thing that's there so still apparently forever is not a lizard waiting to eat you. And then whatever the prey is walks by, and all of a sudden the lizard's mouth comes to life and the stinky tongue comes out and snap grabs the prey, and there's snack, you know. So to sit there so still and kind of regardless, like, who cares how long it takes? I know things take long. I've been around for forever. I am the lizard king. I know everything. And sitting there waiting for food to come by, like, whatever, I'll just meditate on deep stuff that lizards with an ancient lizard mind meditate on until food comes by. And then when it does, that's the time for food. So no big deal about sitting around waiting. Lizard thoughts. Sensitive to the subtle, dreamer. I guess while you're sitting there waiting for food to come passing by, nothing better to do but dream those deep lizard thoughts. The lizard is an expert in the realm of sensory perception. As if it has a sixth sense, the lizard hears what is yet to be spoken and sees what is yet to manifest. Although this is an amazing gift, it can easily wear the lizard down. Big crowds, lots of travel, or overstimulation will drain a lizard of their magical essence. This card is an indication to pull back from the bright lights in big city and return to the inner artist who's been whispering your name. Well, you gotta have quiet to hear a whisper, that's for sure. And the whisper of creativity is even more subtle, I think. But you have to have your senses open to that, and also have the ability with, you know, use of the sense to fine-tune what you're receiving incoming and tune out all the other stuff that's a distraction and unnecessary to whatever your creation is. This card is an indication to pull back. Oh, I already read that. Okay, when in balance, artistic, telepathic, spiritual. When out of balance, elusive, non-committal, flaky. Well, maybe they don't want to put forth a a specified effort. Like maybe they just wanted to be vague. Like, yeah, I'm here. Like, if you don't need me for anything, just I'm here. Move on. To bring into balance a creative project. Okay, so that's interesting. And the other card, I'm going to tie this all together. The other card I pulled was the Phoenix card, which is one of the spirit cards with the 0 at the top. And I always feel like I got a prize when I pull one of those because, I don't know, I feel like they're special. They're the spirit cards. Well, because the things that are on them are not a real thing. Like, especially if you look at this Phoenix, I don't know any bird that has a burning body and wings unsinged by it. What was that? No, not that. What's the matter? Well, anyway, they are symbolic of stuff, of spiritual matters. So, Phoenix, freedom from suffering and past karma, reincarnation. The Phoenix represents the transformation of our past. It doesn't mean running from it, denying it, or burning bridges with rage. The Phoenix employs an advanced technique described in yoga as the burning of impurities through practice and dedication, tapas. The essence of the Phoenix is with us when we realize we have been suffering too long and something must change. We take a stand and decide to live consciously instead of being driven by the unconscious mind and its long list of fears and aversions. At that moment, the spark of the Phoenix is lit, and the great bird helps us burn through our baggage. We no longer run from who we are, what has happened to us, or what we have done. The stuckness and dead weight fall into the ashes, and the lightness and clarity emerge. As the stagnancy continues to smolder, the Phoenix lifts our spirits up and up, and we begin to recognize ourselves again. We may catch a glimmer in our eye that wasn't there before. Look closely, it's a sign the fire of transformation is upon your wings. The Phoenix and the first chakra. The ancient yogis believed that our heaviest karmas reside in the first chakra, the earthen center called the Muladhara, our root. The ascent of the Phoenix begins here, and as the entanglement of karmas is slowly burned, it rises from the ash toward the navel center. Again and again it makes this journey from first to third chakra, purifying our essence and freeing us from the past. I like what it had to say about the spark of the Phoenix when it is lit, and the great bird helping us burn through our baggage, that we no longer run from who we are, what has happened to us, or what we have done. It's kind of the thing of, you did it, regardless of how it landed, own it, and then move on, like, while you're owning it, work through what you gotta work through. Like, are you paying attention to how it affected you? Whatever you have done, whatever act you, committed. And I'm not saying that as like, the same level of severity of a murderer or something, but we do things, and sometimes the thing we think is the most innocuous, meaningless thing will strike someone in a way that we're unaware of and be really hurtful, and miscommunication can happen because there's not clarity. And the lack of clarity might be in the explanation or the definition of what happened, or it just may be that the information was never given clearly, like it just deliberately had missing areas of information. It was lacking to present a certain type of imagery to go along with an agenda. And that's me thinking of the right and the people being moved around and manipulated by things they're told, and about this Q-MAGA conglomerate of right-wing belief in things that I don't think have much substance, really, because it's like slogans and, you know, the people that they want to eliminate, that they don't like, that are immoral or wrong, and whatever the problem is that they got to get rid of people in their history. It's like, okay, I understand you're upset, but what is really the problem? Like, why is this making you so upset? And it's all so complex and so textured that, I mean, this is not the time and the place or the person to work through all of it. We got a lot going on, all of us, and boy, I mean, to boil it down, we got a lot going on, all of us, and maybe we just all give each other a break about it and, like, live and let live. Like, if somebody thinks something that you don't agree with, why does that have to end your world? Like, you have your own world. Get out of this one that's bothering you and move on. Like, why would you stay somewhere that bothers you, or stay in a state that bothers you, that is hurtful to you? Why be in a state where things can come in from the outside and be hurtful and bother you? We have to, like, have boundaries for ourselves to protect ourselves, even from the stuff that we believe in and agree with. Like, it just, as things spread from person to person, they pick up like new elements, and it becomes like this telephone game. And I think that's what happened with the Key people, because between 2015 and now, what they were saying, like, people were like, oh my God, that's so crazy, and it's a conspiracy theory. But in its own sort of world, it made some sense. And now these people, they have like a vague idea of what they're trying to talk about, but the best they can come up with, instead of like a detailed explanation, is a slogan. It's like when something is overcopied too many times and it just loses clarity. I think telephone game, I think that's what happened. But it's also like, it's not just what they're saying, it's what they attach to the saying for themselves, that they think about and feel about and agree with. Like, yeah, I mean, I can't even describe all of that for one person that's not me. I can't describe it for a person that is the one me. We are a confused tangle of emotions and ideas and drives and desires, and yeah, like, we're complicated messes. But I think while we're so messy, we may have gotten to a point where we want to burn off our baggage and get clarity, because things are not working for so many people on so many levels. And then the things they thought were going to fix things, like the Q revolution, what did that fix? It just made more scared people. It made more incarcerated people. It made more criminals. It didn't really change the government at all. And by the way, what they did, well, how would that work? Like, a bunch of people outside, like, okay, we stopped the vote process. Okay, well, you know, the government always has alternative locations for times just like this, you know, and like however many people are at the Capitol, they don't represent the whole country. Because I know I was all, what the hell are you doing? I know I don't want you doing that. I don't want like what you want to replace it with, because I don't think you understand what's happening where you're behind so much and backing so hard, like with the figurehead of the former president at the head of this wave of terrible ideas, in my opinion, because it wants to take so much away from some people and award the rest of the people as if they're better and they've like taken care of some tedious, tiresome little problem, which is everybody else that doesn't agree or, you know, has traditionally, historically been a marginalized or, you know, otherwise left out group. And it's like, what, that we shouldn't do that to each other, because doing that to each other is doing that to ourselves. And that's, I think, where the most hurt arises, that is the hardest to deal with for us, with all of our own problems and issues or not that we have going on inside. We're still totally affected all by each other, because we're all a reflection of each other. Like everywhere we look, like it or not, is me. It's another version of me. Me is you, you is me, and then same for everyone else. I'm not like the exclusive viewer and noticer of these things or the person affected by them. So, yes, we're confused, and yes, we have a lot to work out. God, I'm just even thinking of that writer's strike right now, but I'm not going to blend that in because I actually want to end here soon. Oh my God, I went so long. Yeah. So, confusion and misinterpretation is happening, but I think some with unclear ideas can be helped to bring things into clearer focus, so that they at least see. Like, I'm not like wanting to break anyone away from what they believe, but I would like for them to understand what they think they're believing clearly. Like, as much as the fake news hides from like everybody else, the people on the right, they're also not getting good, clear, true news. They're in such a hurry to tell everybody else what sheeple they are, but they also are living under the same circumstances, just at a different sheep place, whatever you call them, sheep corral. I don't know, city girl. I don't know the name of where the sheep live. Excuse me, but you know, we can reach into our lizard minds and go deep and reflect on things and take an honest, long look at the situation before we just gobble up the next idea that comes along. Like, get real with ourselves, and at that point, we can address the baggage that we have been carrying around, that we have been conditioned to know and believe and buy into, and clear things up and burn away the disclarity. Is that a word? I don't know. It just appeared in my mind, so you're welcome. There's hope, in other words. There's hope that we're gonna, I don't know what it'll be this time, but we've had a couple of events over the past decade that have given us the opportunity to slow down and rethink things. And the thing that I don't think enough of us have done is to take a brutal, close look at the situation, our situation. You know, everything is connected. Everyone is connected. So there's not really any like unplugging people and things from the situation. If you do that, it just complicates matters, and any collective moving forward and evolution and ascending in consciousness is going to be held back by this sort of trickster attitude of like screwing up the forward motion, like throwing a stick in the spokes or a bunch of gravel on the ground, so when your skateboard wheels hit it, you fly off the skateboard because the board stopped, and your inertia is like, you're still going, and you're gonna, it's not good when you land. So we gotta, I think, get it together and stop doing that to ourselves, because the biggest block to our getting clarity and learning from what's happened in our lives and not blaming it for happening to us and accepting that it's happening for us to be illustrative for a reason. And at that point, when things are sort of, you know, we gain clarity, then you can like slough off all of this sort of misinformation that just completely confused the issue. And this is something that can happen over and over, because there's different levels of consciousness. So all kinds of people are going to need to have phoenix moments after their reflection. And that's going to be a tired bird. There's a lot of people. But that's its job. That's why it's here. That's its service. And, you know, whatever we're all doing that we're like judging each other about, or sort of observing each other doing, and, you know, whatever, like having thoughts about, it is a reflection of ourselves. So maybe, like, for me, a way to look at it, like, maybe if I'm reluctant to think that this person over here doing something that this me wouldn't necessarily go do, maybe instead of looking at them and thinking those thoughts as if it's something negative, it's like, yes, that is like an aspect of me, and they're definitely not doing something that I would do, but they are doing something that they would do, and I get to see it and experience it to whatever degree I consent to, basically. And like, that's great. Like, we have all these things going on, and we're like putting people down for it, and it's like, this is like a great thing for us to see and learn from. Why are we getting mad at it? So I have to stop talking now. I'm just going long. We're gonna get it together, I think, because I think gradually we're gonna figure it out, and it's gonna be like a domino effect. Thank you, and good night.